Good afternoon. My name is John Gentile for our CAP assignment for KIN 552. My presentation is based off of the mindset of a CrossFit athlete and how those athletes find motivation, determination, overcoming obstacles, anything in life that could threaten their ability to be successful. So that process we're going to go through today. You kind of mentioned you like the hats. I'm a big T-shirt guy, and going back to our first reflection, we find a video that motivates us. Well, this is the company that Kill to Quit, that really Killcliff that came out with that motto. And I live and strive by that. I don't like to quit at anything I do. I find everything to push through, no matter how good it is, how bad it is. I just find a way to overcome any obstacle. So that's how I can relate to a lot of stuff in my life. So here we go. We got our table of contents. So we're going to go through the introduction. So just a brief summary of why I chose this this content. The application of information. So we're going to go through the motivation, the barriers, conclusion of why this is all important to the CrossFitter or somebody who might want to become a CrossFitter, and then how I will apply what I've learned in this class or how I've already started to apply, and then followed by our references. So CrossFit basically is a methodology that varies workouts with functional movement. The ability to have a strong and motivated mindset is key to be an elite CrossFitter. With that being said, a lot of these CrossFitters compete individually. There are some team aspects, but the individual, it's really hard. It's almost like you can, to make it to the elite status to be a CrossFitter, the statistics are astronomical. You have a better chance of being bit and struck by lightning. Bit by a shark and struck by lightning to make the CrossFit Games and be an elite athlete there. I chose this population for multiple reasons. First, I am a fan of the sport. This sport has been around for about 15 years in CrossFit and implementing the games of CrossFit for about 12 years. CrossFit is a sport that everyone can participate in on a daily basis at their local facilities or at their homes. So it is something that's very versatile. You don't need a whole lot of equipment, so on and so forth. The ability of these athletes to put themselves through countless hours of workouts, nutrition, recovery, and maintenance to perform at the highest level is incredible. That takes a strong mindset, strong motivation, strong determination, holding themselves accountable, having others hold them accountable to be able to succeed and be successful to reach their goals of making it to the games or at the level that they want to be successful at. Just like every sport, CrossFit has a season, but the season is very short for most of the population, and only a few move on to this next stage called regionals, and then finally a few earn the participants to the CrossFit Games. So the population gets dwindled as the better you complete these workouts that are given out through the course of the season. Lastly, I chose a CrossFit athlete as my population to determine how these individuals stay motivated and driven throughout the whole year and season, finding out what keeps them going, why they continue to do this, putting the rigorous workload on their body, how they juggle family, work, and to be a successful CrossFitter, just to kind of figure out. I know I participate in CrossFit on a daily basis, but wanting to understand why others want to do that to themselves and kind of eliminate chronic disease, stuff like that. So the first motivation tactic that I found that works with these CrossFits is the achievement goal theory, the AGT. This is a form of measuring two contrasting motivational climates. First being task involving climate. Second being ego involving climate. The athletes can select this climate by selecting more challenging tasks, given maximum effort during the workouts and skills, and fighting through any setbacks that they are facing. So it's really, if they seem like it's something that they can't do or they don't want to do, but they're just giving that effort no matter what, even if it is something that's very difficult for them. Task involving climate focuses on mastery of the skill, rewards the process and cooperative learning. So it's someone who really wants to break down that movement. So say if it's a power clean, they really want to understand what those tasks are, the proper cues, the proper technique to really master that skill to be successful at it, but also to avoid any sort of injury. So two different kinds of motivation tactics there. Next, we have the self-determination theory. This kind of goes into the more of the ego-involving climate. Can also be labeled in this self-determination category as motivation. But the self-determination theory is the psychological needs for autonomy, competence, and relatedness. So being able to help relate to your athlete, help them be able to show the competency and to be successful, that they're able to do those movements. So these individuals have to find their way, especially in CrossFit being an individualized sport. They need to be able to make this happen on their own. They have coaches, they have trainers, but when they're on the competition floor, they have nobody else to look at but themselves, no matter if you're a beginner on the competition floor or a games elite athlete. There are local competitions that these individuals can participate in, but once you're on the floor, it is you versus yourself. So it's how you can overcome, you versus the workout, you versus the clock, and it's how these people can stay motivated. The self-determination theory can also be labeled as intrinsic motivation. So that kind of speaks for itself. Intrinsic motivation can relate to a CrossFit athlete at any level because it engages the athlete to be satisfied, develop personal fulfillment and pleasure before, during, and after the activity. Relating that to a CrossFit athlete, working out can be a stress relief, goal-oriented, and personal desire. So goal-oriented more towards they want to build strength, they want to lose weight, they want to PR their Fran time, which is a workout made by CrossFit, which is 21:15:9 of pull-ups and thrusters. So they have personal desires to be successful, to be a better wife, a better husband, to be a better father, to be a better mother, to be a better co-worker, better employee, be a better student. So all these personal desires, and obviously stress relief. Working out is one of the number one stress reliefs in the country, and let alone the world. So being able to relieve stress from your daily rigors or anything that's bothering you, it's a great way for that to occur. To be an elite CrossFit Games athlete, you have to have high self-determination. So we kind of went over that. Next, we have the self-efficiency theory. The self-efficiency theory is a set of expectations and beliefs about how capable a person feels in performing certain behaviors and correlating the desirable outcomes. So having a high self-efficiency about exercising can result in higher outcome that the person will exercise, but this feeling will not necessarily be generalized by other tasks. I would choose this theory for my population of CrossFitters because CrossFit is a sport that the individuals have to expend optimal effort, create different thought patterns, and have high expectations on their success. So they have to be able to go into it knowing the amount of effort they have to put in during the workout, maybe a little bit before, kind of have a game plan. Create different patterns. So if something's starting to go wrong, not to freak out, but knowing how they can change their game plan on the fly. But also have expectations of winning that workout, to being successful, to PRing that day. So having this, knowing that it's all about yourself, is pretty self-rewarding when you can accomplish that. But knowing not to give up if something isn't going right. Some barriers that come through with the achievement goal theory are setting goals that aren't realistic, eliminating the potential risk of injury and level of persistence the person maintains on task. The athletes that select this climate are selecting more challenging tasks, giving maximum effort during the workouts and skills, and fighting through any setbacks that they are facing. So giving max effort, challenging tasks. So a lot of people struggle with pull-ups. So being able to do 10 unbroken pull-ups, finding a way that to to make that task challenging, but not too challenging. The ego involving climate is rewards based off of successful outcomes, public opinion, and interpersonal competition. So if you're not successful, obviously if you're not successful with your outcomes, or the public doesn't view you in a certain way, that could get you down, and you're obviously not achieving your goal at that time if your outcome isn't the way you want it. So moving on to the self-determination theory for barriers, overcoming extrinsic motivation along with eliminating amotivation. CrossFit is a sport where you can participate on your own, so having the motivation to be able to complete all workouts by oneself is a major psychological factor. So if you're not one that can motivate yourself, and you need to find someone that will. CrossFit is a community that everyone picks each other up. So you trying to eliminate being your own worst enemy will help eliminate this barrier and help you be self-determined in moving forward and using any sort of intrinsic motivation that will help keep you moving. So we have the self-efficiency theory barriers here. Potential barriers to overcome: setting the beliefs and expectations too high without developing an outcome. So if you don't know how that your game plan is going to go, if you haven't run out with it, but you say you're going to win the event or the workout, or you can't make it to the gym that day, but you just can't. You making sure that you don't set yourself too high where you might risk failure. Setting your goals elevating your goals too high right away. So say you want to lose 20 pounds in a week. Okay, a lot of us know that that's really unrealistic, but making sure that you are setting realistic expectations and goals. Experiencing failure and not meeting expectations could lead to low self-efficiency. We kind of went over that. To overcome some of these barriers can be quite difficult depending on the individual. Providing rest and recovery can help reduce the risk of failing. So obviously making sure you give yourself proper recovery through nutrition, sleep, proper care through chiropractic or physical therapy. The conclusion here is CrossFit has a tendency to develop a sense of community within the facility, where your support system can be the fellow individuals that you're working out against you. So the ability for CrossFit to have a strong mindset will give the athlete a stronger competitive edge over the rest of the competition. So creating self-confidence will help individuals stay focused on goals and accomplishments. So giving them an environment that they feel comfortable in, making sure their goals are realistic, making sure they have positive people around them if they are a positive person. If you are a positive person and you're in a setting where people are bringing you down, well, just do your best to get out of that setting. And most of the time, CrossFit communities don't allow those negative aspects in there. Everyone likes to pick each other up. Everyone's cheering for you, even if you're the first to finish or you're the last to finish, as long as you finish without quitting. So like my motto is kill the quit. Kill Cliff says in that video that I posted in the beginning of the year, or beginning of the session, kill the quit. Find a way not to give up. Finding out what's motivating. The difference between CrossFit and other sports is the individual has to perform without coaching or help of others when competing. So we mentioned that. They take all the practices and sessions to derive a plan to be successful without a coach on the floor. So even if you're in the regular box and you're a regular member, you can you're practicing skills on your own time. They do have skills related sessions, making sure that you're developing a plan with your person next to you, with the coach of the day for that specific workout. So this can range from the basic beginner all the way to the elite athlete. You still have to do this all on your own. Where most of the other sports have their respective coaches or managers on the sidelines, CrossFit doesn't. CrossFit has their coaches in the stands or backstage. There's no one on the sidelines telling you how to be successful. Coaches during the games and match help their players stay motivated and driven, where the CrossFit athlete has to create a self-motivation to deliver the outcomes. Like we talked about with that goal efficiency there, the AGT theory and the self-determination theory. The development of perceived choice, thought patterns, optimal effort, and reasonably high expectations are important conditions for a CrossFit athlete, because the athlete will develop motivation and desirable outcomes that can create a positive outcome on the competition floor. The way I've been applying this, and I'm going to apply this with my clients of my own, is developing great self-talk strategies with my clients, basically helping them enhance competitive focus, no matter what their goals are. And let it alone be CrossFit, let alone be their workouts, making sure that they're competitive, they're staying focused to be successful daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, so on and so forth. Guiding athletes in their short-term and long-term goals and showing how they are related. Knowing that short-term goals can lead into long-term goals, but making sure those goals are realistic, and realistic in environment and stuff like that. Better understanding how each person is different when it comes to motivational aspects and barriers. So knowing if someone really responds to positive reinforcement, knowing if someone can take some negative reinforcement every once in a while. If they did something wrong, you can tell them that they did something wrong and how to fix it. Knowing that how to talk to individuals, because everyone's different. Everyone handles their outcomes differently, no matter if it's positive or negative. That's one thing I'm going to really find out how to apply my knowledge of this course into helping individuals be successful on their own, but knowing how I can talk to them, help motivate them, because everybody's different. Knowing how to control my environment is what's going to be key, is how I can keep myself motivating them while keeping myself motivated. We all have those days where we need 3 or 4 cups of coffee. Have those days every once in a while. So knowing what I have to do to be successful and keep myself motivated has been quite important. Then lastly, we have our references here. Yep. I'd like to thank you. Thank you for the opportunity for letting me perform at this course and to do my presentation on the mindset of a CrossFit athlete. Thank you. Have a great day and kill the quit.